this country doesn't value its citizens' lives.
Health is a major issue, considering the demography diversity in India.
2 लोगों को देखा जो मास्क पहन रहे थे. So there is almost no awareness that even in this season, the level of exposure is at a point which is not safe.
डेली डेथ की बात करें तो लगभग 4,500 to 5,000 डेथ्स डेली हो रही हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द एम्बिएंट एयर पोल्यूशन.
Somehow, greenery is going to help reduce air pollution. But the reality is, greenery can't reduce air pollution. But आपने अगर अरावली को खोदना शुरू कर दिया, and you've made it more permeable, and the loo basically makes its presence more felt here, then you're not resolving it by creating biodiversity parks within Delhi. It's bringing in more, and the moment it comes onto the roads, resuspension happens.
जीटी लॉग पॉडकास्ट के इस एपिसोड में एक बार फिर से आप सब लोगों का स्वागत है. मैं आपका होस्ट अनुराग वाजपेयी और मेरे साथ में वेरी डैशिंग मेरे को होस्ट संदीप नारंग जी. आज के हमारे गेस्ट वेरी डिलिजेंट, वेरी इंटेलिजेंट कार्तिक गणेशन. कार्तिक CEW, Center for India's energy landscape. And when we look at this particular topic, we see what is the demand which is going up and up. Last month or last month we have heard कि दिल्ली का जो पीक पावर डिमांड है वो 500 megawatt touch किया. In general, we anticipate that it will touch the peak almost like 8.5 thousand megawatt or maybe more. This is one specific area where we look at how the India is growing with respect to the power demand.
Right.
There is another side also. We have recently seen one maybe policy, let's say in Uttar Pradesh, जहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चरल एंड इरिगेशन के लिए जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है वो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट फार्मर्स को दी गई है. एंड इट हैज स्टार्टेड और आई थिंक रोल्ड आउट फ्रॉम मार्च 2025 itself. इन जनरल भी हम लोग इस बेल्ट में हम लोग वी हैव रियलाइज कि देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ पावर कट्स एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द डेफिसिट. तो जो पीक डिमांड है वो ग्रो कर रही है एंड सर्टेनली वी सी दैट देयर इज अ स्पेसिफिक रिक्वायरमेंट इन टर्म्स ऑफ हाउस होल्ड, इन टर्म्स ऑफ अप्लायंसेस, ये सब चीजें और उसी को कंट्रीब्यूट भी करेंगी. हाउ डू यू परसीव दिस डिमांड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड?
पहले तो हमें ये याद रखना होगा कि जब हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिमांड की बात कर रहे हैं तो you mentioned two things, residential and agriculture. And you do see that one is consumptive and the other is low production.
Right.
Those are not the two things where electricity consumption actually going to drive productivity outcomes for the economy.
Right.
But the reality is that जब electricity की बात होती है हम इन दोनों के बारे में ही बात करते हैं. अगर गर्मी बढ़ती है तो घरों में AC चलते हैं तो उसकी वजह से बिजली की खपत ज्यादा होता है. और पर that should not be the thing that's driving the way your economy is consuming electricity. So that itself tells you that this narrative around electricity consumption and demand is a very limited one. Industrial demand के बारे में बहुत कम बातें होती हैं. Because industry जो है अपना काफी सारा requirement जो है खुद के captive power plant से कर लेती है. Right? Commercial buildings की बात करते हैं. Commercial buildings में इतने सारे लोग जो हैं अभी DG sets अभी भर के शहरों में right? They are running. So clearly, you know, the government is worried about two segments, and those are the ones that are driving the narrative, right? You know, during the cropping season, you know, तो पंजाब में हो या यूपी में हो कहीं पे भी डिमांड बढ़ जाता है, and गर्मियों में you know घरों की वजह से बढ़ जाता है. बाकी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? So there is, I think, a need. So one thing is we have a very limited understanding of जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का लोड प्रोफाइल जो है वो कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हुआ है डिफरेंट कंज्यूमर कैटेगरी वाइज. आज के टाइम में चलो इतना सा डेटा तो है कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लोड प्रोफाइल इंडिया का कैसा है. 22 अगर 24 घंटे देखें तो 24 घंटे में दिन का पीक कब आता है, यू नो आवरली हो या 15 मिनट में हो, वो सब डेटा मिल जाएगा आपको. पर अगर पूछेंगे कि इस टाइम पे आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द policy planning community, जहाँ पे policy analysis community, their understanding of how much is electricity being consumed in agriculture any given 24 hours नहीं है. 24 hours छोड़ दीजिए, महीने में देखिए, महीने का भी डेटा नहीं, साल का आपको नंबर मिलेगा कि विद्युत विभाग ने इतनी यूनिट बिजली एग्रीकल्चर को बेचा है. उसमें भी इतनी सारी दिक्कतें. जैसे महाराष्ट्र में कुछ साल पहले प्रयास एनर्जी पुणे ने ये किया था कि उनका जो रिपोर्टिंग था कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जो है फार्मर्स को जो जाता है वो नंबर पूरा का पूरा गलत है. इट्स बेसिकली बिन sort of manipulated because वहां पे बिजली मुफ्त में जाती है, तो आप उसमें अकाउंटिंग ज्यादा कर लो तो आपको सरकार की तरफ से उसकी सब्सिडी भी मिल जाएगी. एज इन विद्युत विभाग को दिखाना नहीं होता है कि चलो I've sold that to somebody. So accounting is wrong, right? Losses are also pretty high because wires are actually not longer than they ought to be. So technical losses ज्यादा हैं, theft भी होता है, सब कुछ. So as far as this country is concerned, जो हम देखेंगे ना, I was just telling somebody at 250 gigawatt for 1.4 billion people, it's nothing. The amount of growth that remains in our consumption is phenomenal, but is the right set of people, सही लोगों को क्या बिजली पहुंच रही? And I think, if you look at the multiple reports that are coming out about the different Indias that exist, Bloom Ventures का एक रिपोर्ट आया था, बहुत लोगों ने पढ़ा होगा, right? Which talked about this stark difference between, that 300-400 million and then the rest, in terms of what they consume, what they, what they produce, their income, their wealth. The growth is happening here. In some states where we've seen the data regarding, for instance, सौभाग्य योजना आया था, right? दीनदयाल उपाध्याय ग्रामीण विद्युतीकरण योजना के तहत जो घरों पे जो विद्युतीकरण किया गया, उसके बाद हमने देखा कि घरों में बिजली की खपत कितना हो रहा है. ये 2017 में खत्म हुआ, तो 19-20 की बात है, कोरोना के जस्ट पहले जो नए इलेक्ट्रिफाइड घर थे उस टाइम पे महीने में 13-15 यूनिट मीडियन कंजम्पशन, महीने में 13-15 यूनिट. अब देखिए क्या ही हो रहा है इन घरों में. I'm hoping that in 5 years things have improved, but there is a lot to be done and we haven't understood enough. So this is one part of the work. जब मैंने काम शुरू किया था CW में, तब 2012 में, तब हमारा फोकस ये था कि how do we improve the level of the standard of living in rural areas? What does it mean then for electricity consumption? Things have improved overall, but it's improved more for urban people.
आपकी बात को वो रिफ्रेश करके बोला जाए तो certainly there is a lot of data which is still unavailable. और डेटा नहीं होगा तो फिर उसके बेसिस पे पॉलिसीज नहीं बनाई जा सकती या उसके बेसिस पे डिसीजन नहीं किया सकता है ना. तो और जैसे एग्रीकल्चर का जो स्पेसिफिक डेटा है, जैसे फीडर सेग्रीगेशन नहीं है कई जगह पे, सेग्रीगेशन है भी तो उसका डेटा अवेलेबल नहीं है, बिकॉज वी डू लॉट ऑफ डिस्कॉम लेवल डीएसएम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन जहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर
पंप्स को ये करना,
पंप्स है,
एफिशिएंट पंप्स कराना,
तो ये सब चीजें भी हैं उसमें. एंड दैट इज वेयर वी सी देयर इज लॉट ऑफ challenges. We sometimes or most of the times we understand कि ये जो data unavailability है उसका स्पेसिफिक let's say रीजन भी है कि चलिए वोट स्पेसिफिक है या उस पर्टिकुलर डेमोग्राफी से डिपेंडेंट है जो बहुत ही लो इनकम ग्रुप को बिलोंग करती है. बट लेट अस से अदर स्पेसिफिक एरियाज, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल व्हेन वी लुक एट द ग्रोथ कंपोनेंट जहाँ पे लोगों की परचेजिंग पावर से गवर्न है. फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैव 8% एयर कंडीशनर पेनिट्रेशन रेट इन इंडिया.
कुछ भी नहीं है,
है ना. और अगर डेवलप कंट्रीज में देखा जाए तो ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 80-90% एयर कंडीशनिंग मतलब स्पेस, एयर कंडीशनड स्पेसेस हैं.
बट एट द सेम टाइम मैं एक बात कहता हूँ, दिल्ली में एवरेज हाउस होल्ड कंजम्पशन इज द सेम एज जर्मनी. तो इन द सेम ब्रेथ व्हेन वी से कि हमारा एयर कंडीशनर पेनिट्रेशन 8% है, there also exists at Delhi whose electricity consumption rivals the developed economies. So you see the massive inequity, and that is where the problem becomes one of who are you targeting with your policies, किसको address कर रहे हैं. और जब इतना सारा आपके सिस्टम में diversity and inequity है, are you actually able to get the actors who need to change to do the right thing, right?
No, you're right. So, but अब इसमें who should we target? जैसे आपने बताया कि दिल्ली है, तो we understand दिल्ली में लोगों के पास जो per capita income है, that is certainly much more, much higher. हमारे यहाँ पे per capita income, average income जो है वो 2 लाख रुपए है, मान लीजिए, इंडिया भर की बात करें, वो भी it has almost become like a double in last 10 to 12 years. 2011 में नंबर 1 लाख रुपए था, 2022 में नंबर 2 लाख रुपए हो गया. सर्टेनली दिल्ली में वो नंबर हो सकता है कि 5-6 लाख रुपए के आसपास होगा. सो दे हैव दैट अफोर्डेबिलिटी जहाँ पे वो इस तरह का परचेज कर सकते हैं अप्लायंसेस, और वो कर सकते हैं. बट ये ड्राइव को अगर हम कंजप्शन से लिंक करें या डिमांड से लिंक करें तो ये तो बढ़ती जाएगी ऐसे. और जो लोग मतलब लोअर मिडिल क्लास हैं या जो स्ट्रेटा के नीचे के लोग हैं, they'll also be having improved purchasing power.
Yeah.
तो मतलब is that the way that we should grow?
So I mean, there is of course given beyond a point a state. Let's take, we are in UP right now, right? UP already has a very skewed structure of consumption.
Yeah.
Right, where a significant bit of the consumption actually is coming from households already. जबकि घरों में consumption होना और बाकी है. So where is the room then for industrial consumption? How do you provide increasing, supply to industries that might want to set up here? How do you increase, of course, along with the residential and whatever growing incomes in certain pockets, उतना हद तक तो commercial बढ़ेगा. But this is already presenting a challenge to UP in terms of revenue recovery. The reason why Gujarat is doing really well is because they've got this great diversity, low agriculture, high industrial, high commercial, and domestic is actually also very low. Again, not everybody can aspire to be a Gujarat, right? It's an endowment. But हमें ये भी देखना होगा कि how do we manage the way in which we support consumption in poorer households, especially when this consumption number is likely to go up. So going back to your question as to whether the demand, obviously, I think the demand numbers are going to go up, right? The fact that Delhi this season, May was, very kind to us. Unseasonal rain था, तो इसकी वजह से गर्मी इतनी नहीं हुई, पर जून में लग रहा है कि पकड़ रहा है वो. तो it's possible that we may hit the peak in June. So again, the uncertainty is also changing. Right? We are reliant on sources of energy which are not anymore, entirely in our control. Solar and wind, sometimes, for instance, wind may not show up. Normally June, July, August, September में monsoon था. अभी वो अगर जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर हो जाता है. इस साल फिलहाल 8 days पहले ही आ गया, but we are seeing that the wind regime जो है थोड़ा सा कुछ सालों में आगे हो गया है. In June पावर प्लांट्स वगैरह सब कुछ मेंटेनेंस में जाते थे क्योंकि डिमांड कम होता था कंट्री में, और विंड भी पकड़ लेता था, तो it was supplementing what power plants were not giving. So there is a combination of both demand side and supply side uncertainties. We have to model them well and ensure that we have a fleet that is able to supply. And this is one of the reasons why India में आप कोई भी नया प्लांट लगा लेंगे, likelihood that उसका डिमांड तो कहीं ना कहीं है, but really it's about अगर उसको चलाते हुए आपको operational cost है, जैसे कोयले वाला अगर प्लांट है, if there is an OPEX of 3.5 rupees to run that plant, then उसका पैसा आपको भुगतना होगा. So if you don't have the ability to pay for it, then you don't run it.
एक और चैलेंज पे बात करते हैं कार्तिक. जैसे यूपी का आपने नाम लिया, यूपी इज एस्पायरिंग फॉर $1 trillion इकोनॉमी. उसके लिए इंडस्ट्रीज आएंगी एंड देन द ओवरऑल इकोसिस्टम विल ग्रो इवेंचुअली. इंडस्ट्रीज 10 साल पहले यूपी में इसलिए नहीं आती थी बिकॉज ऑफ सर्टेनली वन रीजन कि हाँ, मतलब वो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, दैट वाज वन. द सेकंड वाज द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. 6 घंटे की डिफाइंड पावर कट थी, और वो भी डिफाइंड का मतलब है ये नहीं कि आपको 4 बजे से लेकर के 10 बजे तक का जाएगा, वो कभी भी जा सकता था. तो वो साइफी डेटा जिसे हम लोग बोलते हैं कि आप फ्रीक्वेंसी एंड देन ड्यूरेशन, उसे कोई सर्टेनिटीज नहीं थी. इस तरह की सिचुएशन में सर्टेनली देयर इज एन इम्प्रूवमेंट, बट स्टिल इट इज नॉट दैट यू हैव अ सप्लाई व्हिच इज सर्टेन. स्टिल इस तरह की जो स्टेट्स हैं वो नॉर्दर्न बेल्ट में और भी हैं.
बिल्कुल.
तो मतलब जब तक कोई भी इस तरह की जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, बिकॉज दिस इज द एसेंशियल कमोडिटी जो कि इंडस्ट्रीज को चाहिए. आई टोटली एग्री कि ग्रोथ बढ़ेगी, और ग्रोथ का बढ़ना लाजमी भी है बिकॉज द इंडस्ट्रीज दे नीड एंड दे रिक्वायर सच इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. तो मतलब इस तरीके की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो जो उसकी कितनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, मतलब वो कितना उसको इम्पैक्ट कर सकती है.
I mean, so there is, I think if you look at it, right, recently you've seen, I saw some news which suggested that, for instance, the share of renewable energy in Pakistan is actually higher than that of India. हो सकता है कि डेटा में कहीं पे थोड़ा सा मिसमैच हो. I mean, I was shared a slide and then I pointed out कि यार नहीं लग रहा है कि सोलर थोड़ा कम दिखा रहा है इंडिया में. हो सकता है कि किसी ने कहीं और से पकड़ लिया हो नंबर बिकॉज कंसिस्टेंट सालों के नंबर्स चाहिए. बट नॉट विथ स्टैंडिंग दैट, द फैक्ट दैट Pakistan is caught up in terms of solar share. Again, it's a very disruptive way in which solar has come because वहाँ पे electricity outages are so crippling in Lahore, in some of the biggest cities. Because we both of us have got the same problems. We've managed to resolve it in many parts of the country. Maybe Pakistan is still trying to resolve it. But people realized अगर मेरे छत पे अगर solar है तो मैं खुद का राजा हूँ. I can control what I need, and I can, मेरे जरूरत अनुसार मैं और पैनल लगा लूंगा. उसके हिसाब से अगर बैटरी चाहिए तो बैटरी भी लगा लेंगे. It is better than living, in miserable conditions in the summer. Outages कब हैं पता नहीं आपको. रात को अगर सोएंगे नहीं तो अगले दिन productivity नहीं है. So a lot of people started ascribing value to lost productivity and started installing solar. And of course, given the relationship between Pakistan and China, we noticed that solar panels were flooding the market there. Really cheap. So we are not talking about grid scale, itne sare aa rahe hain, wo bhi hain. But this is what is changing the reality on the ground there. So one could always say that for a lot of the population in India, to the extent that solar rooftop becomes a commodity, again, इंडिया में अनफॉर्चुनेटली जुगाड़ इज वेरी यूजुअल. सब चीजों में हो जाता है. सो यू कांट कंसिडर सोलर एज अ जुगाड़ सोल्यूशन. नाउ इट्स वेरी पॉसिबल दैट पाकिस्तान इन द फेस ऑफ मे बी सिमिलर इंजीनियरिंग कैपेसिटी, मे बी लेसर देन इंडिया, बहुत सारे सॉल्यूशंस जुगाड़ में चल रहे हैं. मीनिंग कहीं कैसे भी लगा लिया रूफटॉप पे, पर एक आंधी आएगी तो वो कैसा फंक्शन करेगा, राइट, आंधी के बाद. So only time will tell how robust and how reliable and durable those solutions are. But if we can put together an ecosystem that will ensure that कि जब मैं solar rooftop लगा रहा हूँ अपने घर के ऊपर, वो मुझे 20 साल तक रहेगा, राइट, वो स्ट्रक्चर सॉलिड रहेगा. एंड अगर पैनल जब बीच में अगर बदलने हो तो बदल लो, राइट, उसके हिसाब से आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है अपने डेवलपर से. जैसे आज के टाइम पे इतने सारे जो आ गए नए मिनी डेवलपर्स राइट नाउ इन द कंट्री, that will certainly take away a lot of the pressure from the DISCOM.
So if I put it in the challenges and the opportunities format, so opportunity यही है कि बहुत सारा जो ecosystem infrastructure है वो develop करना बचा हुआ है, and the challenge is कि how to build that ecosystem with the quality as a prime parameter.
Yeah, we have to look at the durability of the system. While I think there's a lot of conversations around generating assets चल रहा है. I mean, I think there the conversations and we have supreme capacity there. Whether it's the National Load Dispatch Center, NLDC हो या CEA हो, CRC हो, they're really coming on top. I think the discussions are of a very high quality. I've had the privilege of looking at some discussions in many other contexts. Outside India, developed. We're certainly not lacking there. But this is catering to a part of the system. Of course, it's catering to all of the country, but there is so much left to be served. So many demands that are relying on alternatives which are too expensive. And those solutions, we need to try and see how do we make them more cost effective for those people. So that the strain on the grid, so what is the investment that's not happening today is augmenting the distribution system. उसमें पैसा इतना नहीं जा रहा है. A lot of investment is going into transmission infrastructure, into generation infrastructure, but distribution grid में इतना infrastructure नहीं जा रहा है, investment नहीं जा रहा है. You have to upgrade it, चाहे वो metering हो DT की, चाहे वो smart metering हो, so that we're looking at DSM compliant devices to be able to provide for that kind of demand response when needed. उन सब चीजों के लिए वो system और visible होना चाहिए.
वो सब बहुत essential चीजें हैं. जैसे
correct, उसमें मेरे ख्याल से because of the inefficiencies we are not able to put in as much resources into that part of the system. Now that can come from can be consumer led too, because उसमें उनके लिए भी फायदा है. But that's the reality. We are not able to convince the consumer who's able to invest in it to say that कि उसमें करो, फायदा है आपके लिए, because everybody is narrowly looking at कि कल फायदा है कि आज फायदा है कि 10 साल बाद फायदा है.
कार्तिक ने भी बताया कि जो हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दे रहे हैं, मतलब 10 मिनट पहले बोला एक सेंटेंस, उसने that started the thought process, whether we are giving the electricity for the right people for the right usage, also the subsidy. Now there is an example of Punjab. They say that because Punjab was given free electricity to the farmers, so they started drawing water in a way that today from water access region, Punjab being land of 5 rivers, it's now water scarce, 400 feet water. So is this policy, and they have this agricultural misproduce also. It was never a rice belt. Sure. It became a rice belt, Haryana and Punjab, because nobody thought about it, that giving subsidy or free electricity to the farm. So is that a right process? What are your views on this? Is there a right process of giving water when we are getting water stressed whole of the North India, even Ganges belt?
Yeah, I think it's important to reflect on this. You know, in India, 20% or 20 to 22% of our electricity is now going towards agriculture. Now, there may be, whether the number is reliable or not, we can only speculate on, but let's assume that number is true. Let me also point out that at least in 2018, when I was looking at the global data, I mean, these things don't change that fast. 7 सालों में इतना बदलता भी नहीं है. 20% of all electricity sold globally towards agriculture is in India. Imagine that. So within India, 20 to 22% of India's electricity is sold to agriculture. But 20% of all electricity sold to agriculture globally is in India. In a country where industrial farming is not yet there, where technically, should be low energy intensive given the, the income levels, etc. But yet, at least based on official data, that is the case. Which means a phenomenal amount of energy is being expended in extracting water today in the agricultural economy. Because it's a higher share than our share of population. Typically, वो जो ratio जब देखते हैं, we see whether it is in proportion to our population. It's higher. In most metrics, India is lower than the global average, global share of what it should be, because that's how it is, right?
वो number हमारे यहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा है.
Which means that agriculture is disproportionately consuming energy here. And it's not just about Punjab, right? One can argue it is a situation of, for instance, whether it's sugarcane in this belt, Western UP, sugarcane in southern Mandya and Mysore around the Kaveri in Karnataka, or whether it is sugarcane and cotton in Maharashtra, right? In the drought belt. So all of these, or cotton in Punjab, all of these are things that we need to look at. I mean, in fact, there is going to be a renewed focus on there has always been this concept of virtual water, which is, how much of water is actually embedded in the trade that is actually, undertaken in products. We are effectively subsidizing the West's consumption of water, because ultimately these products make their way to the West. चाहे वो हमारे यहाँ T-shirt बन रहा हो, right? Or whether it is, sugar that's being exported to Abu Dhabi.
सब में पानी की
ज़रूरत है. वो कहाँ से आ रही है? It's basically our, we are at
our resource,
creating our problem for our farmers and our future generations. We're doing this. So we certainly have to look at this nexus between energy consumption and water. And a question that often comes to, in fact, just yesterday in our office we were discussing, अगर अक्षय ऊर्जा सोलर की वजह से आप सोलर पंप हो या चाहे वो सोलराइज्ड फीडर से आप पंप करा के वहां से आप पानी निकाल रहे हैं ग्राउंड से, लोग कहते हैं कि अगर सोलर एनर्जी बिकम्स यूबिक्विटस, यानी कि हर जगह पहुंच जाता है, तो कहीं से भी आपने पानी खींच लिया, क्या वो सही रहेगा? Because not everywhere. I mean, while in the Gangetic belt you may think कि चलो ठीक है पानी गंगा है जब तक तब तक ग्राउंड वाटर है, but that may not be the case forever. There are challenges even with glacial melt and when water is available. While water tables are reasonably high in Bihar, Jharkhand, and maybe in places like Chhattisgarh, where till today agriculture has not yet stressed the land, because again production is also low. But it can soon change if we end up supplying everybody with a solar pump and they're withdrawing water. Again, it's a speculation. There is no clarity as to how does rainwater accretion happen, groundwater accretion. How does it get recharged? What are the aquifers like? And have we monitored these fields to understand post monsoon kaisa hai? There is of course studies from CGWB, but these are not being integrated in the way we think of solutions across the country. PM Kusum scheme is a very well thought idea to take away the burden of supplying to agriculture from the DISCOM. But it should not inadvertently create other problems where you don't have water for other important uses.
So, Karthik, I think that is also one of the specific point. Whenever, let's say, organizations like yours, which is primarily the think tank, जो भी research के basis पे या data के basis पे, when you prepare the policy and the policy gets implemented, like one of the policy or the maybe order that I was informing you कि अभी मार्च में जैसे ही I'll give an example also. So मार्च में जैसे ही ये order state government से release हुआ in terms of free electricity for irrigation and agriculture through tube well. One of the villages या जिस village से मैं belong करता हूँ वहाँ पे 200 households हैं, 200 घर हैं और उसमें से 16 पंप या ट्यूबवेल जो है वो सिर्फ 2 महीने में लग गए, अप्रैल मई में. तो इसका मतलब पहले भी वो कर रहे थे. ऐसा नहीं था कि उनको पानी की इतनी बड़ी समस्या थी. But just because there is a free electricity available, people feel that by investing ₹1 lakh in putting up the tube well, it may help them in terms of earning more money. So, मतलब अब that is one thing that we really realize that is where maybe I think the data has to have some sense and because policy level पे एक बार बन गया, implementation हो गया, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये एक responsibility भी है कि उस चीज को correlate करना, उसके impact को analysis करना, और फिर coming back to the maybe I think to those policy makers कि नहीं ये इसका ill impact है या इसका अच्छा impact है, इसको हमें scale करना चाहिए, इसका हमें scale down करना चाहिए. And that is something which is very very important aspect, जो कि मुझे लगता है कि शायद मतलब पूरी तरीके से नहीं हो रहा है.
Yeah, when I hear of these examples, जैसे आपने अभी कहा कि आपके गांव के जो लोग हैं, कुछ परिवार हैं जहां पे 1 या 1.5 लाख रुपए लगा के उन्होंने पंप लगा दी. Now, who has the ability to put in 1.5 lakhs into a new tube well? किसके पास वो capacity है? Is that a rich household? Is that a medium income household? Is that a poor household? Surely it's not poor. Poor नहीं है. Medium and rich में there could be somewhere in the spectrum. So we have to see this scheme that has been put out. किसके फायदे के लिए है? While that's the challenge with India is that anything that's announced, it almost, because your ability to exclude anybody is so little, or at least even the desire to exclude, because the more people you include, the bigger the vote bank. But the reality is that the more people you include, the less there is for everybody.
But that is also the position that we need to, maybe I think we need to also look at carefully. Let's say 200 लोगों में 16 लोगों ने लगाया, तो लगभग 8% के आसपास में they certainly have that affordability factor. तो इसका मतलब कि आपने तो गलत लोगों को incentive दिया ना. तो that is the policy और research की बात है ये कि मतलब that is how the incentives or subsidies should be given to those specific people who really need such incentives.
I mean, and that's the thing that is known throughout, that there is definitely a capture of our, subsidies by people who are well off, well-to-do, across time, and I think that's true of many other cases as well. Electricity is one clear case. जबकि people who are able to afford it are actually, because in the urban areas are the ones for whom the supply is the most reliable at lowest cost, right? They don't have to rely so much on generators, etc. Supply is more reliable for them, whereas people in the rural areas who probably can't afford as much, who aren't getting then as much of a subsidy because उतना खपत होता ही नहीं है वहाँ. उनके यहाँ अगर बिजली कभी चाहिए तो किसी शायद वो फेस्टिवल के लिए हो क्या important, they used to go for diesel pumps and generators etc. So there is this distorted view of who gets subsidized. And this leads me to out of electricity. I know we've already spent so much time discussing electricity and we wanted to talk about air quality. A clear example again is LPG. Right? We have, this will be, 2030, it'll be 75 years since India has started providing LPG to households. And LPG for the longest part has been a subsidized commodity in our country. सब्सिडी के बिना ना आपकी मम्मी ना मेरी मम्मी उसको यूज करती, बिकॉज उस पर इतना टैक्स लगता है, इम्पोर्टेड पेट्रोलियम एंड देन द प्रोसेसिंग रिफाइनिंग, एंड इट्स एन एक्सपेंसिव कमोडिटी दैट कोई भी यूज नहीं करता. एंड अब भी हमारे घरों में चूल्हे पे चाहे वो गोबर के उपले हो या लकड़ी, उसी पे बनता होता. बट दैट्स नॉट द केस इन योर हाउस होल्ड एंड माई हाउस होल्ड टुडे. वी हैव ऑल शिफ्टेड बिकॉज 30-35 सालों का एक्सपीरियंस है, उससे ऊपर भी. दादी के टाइम से ही शायद होगा कि घर पे एलपीजी पे ही खाना बनेगा. कभी कभार व्हेन मे बी इफ देयर इज अ नीड इन सम सीजन, मे बी बाहर अगर ऐसा कोठी है या वहां रहते हैं तो शायद बनता होगा, नहीं तो इन अर्बन सेटिंग्स नहीं बन रहा है. बट ऑल ऑफ दिस इज फैसिलिटेटेड थ्रू अ सब्सिडी. वो सब्सिडी किसको गया? एट दैट टाइम श्योरली इट वेंट टू द पीपल हु वर सोशली मोबाइल. एंड टुडे वी हैव ऑफ कोर्स प्रधानमंत्री उज्ज्वला योजना तो 2016 से है, जिसके तहत लगभग 10 करोड़ पुअर हाउसहोल्ड्स हैव बीन गिवन एलपीजी कनेक्शन. एलपीजी नहीं दिया गया है, एलपीजी कनेक्शन दिया गया, और इन अ सब्सिडाइज्ड वे दे हैव बीन गिवन अ गैस स्टोव एज वेल. बट द रियलिटी इज दैट द शेयर ऑफ हाउसहोल्ड्स दैट कंटिन्यू टू यूज solid fuels, whether it's firewood or whether it is gobar or whether it is agricultural waste, जो भी उनको मिलता है उनके जगह के अनुसार वो यूज कर रहे हैं. That is still being used by more than a third of the households, which means that such a large program has not really had that significant an impact in terms of converting some of the poorest households to LPG. Now, where are we getting at? LPG today, while there is no subsidy, as you know, in recent times, the subsidy is only reserved for this PMUY consumer. अभी 300 रुपए का सब्सिडी है उस पे, जबकि दाम भी काफी महंगा हो चुका है. Right? It's 850 for people like us. अभी जैसे अर्बन ही नहीं, जैसे रूरल में भी 850 ही है, जबकि वहां पे 850 प्लस डिलीवरी चार्जेस. दूर जाएंगे तो और भी दिल्ली में 853 है. बाहर आप जितना दूर आप जाएंगे रिफाइनरी से दूर, उतना कॉस्ट महंगा होते रहेगा. ट्रांसपोर्ट का कॉस्ट इज बिल्ट इन. पीएमयूआई कंज्यूमर में पे 553 टुडे. बट द रियलिटी इज पीएमयूआई कंज्यूमर्स आर ओनली वन शेयर ऑफ इट. बाकी के जो 24 करोड़ लोग जो हैं, विच कॉन्स्टिट्यूट्स बोथ द रिच एंड द पुअर लेगेसी कंज्यूमर्स. लेगेसी कंज्यूमर्स में पुअर जो हैं, वो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं इस दाम पे? 835 रुपए, 853 पे. So now we find that those households are probably resorting to using something else. And the research is very clear कि लकड़ी को जलाने से, गोबर को उपले को जलाने से घर के अंदर जो धुआं पैदा होता है, और उसके वजह से लगभग हर साल 8 लाख मौत होती है. Deaths, premature deaths, mostly women and children, and of course men, older women and older adults. 8 lakh. And in addition, 30% of ambient PM 2.5 जो कहलाता है, वो वहीं से आता है इंडिया में. हाउसहोल्ड घर के अंदर
biggest contributor है.
बिगेस्ट सिंगल कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटर एग्रीगेट लेवल पे. हो सकता है कि अगर आप मुंबई देखें तो मुंबई में नहीं होगा वो, बिकॉज मुंबई इज फार अवे, बट मैक्रो लेवल पे वो है.
चलो एक क्वालिटी पे थोड़ा सा सॉल्यूशंस की बात करते हैं कार्तिक, एंड सर यू आर certainly an expert in this area.
We go to the solution. Just one thing. So connecting it with the debate earlier about कैसे सुधारें, The solution is a simple one. In India, given that we are a nation of limited resources, जो है, we have to see how can we make it benefit the most needed groups.
Right.
We have not managed to do that in the case of electricity, and neither have we managed to do that in the case of cooking gas. Two very important forms of energy that households consume. It is still skewed, and we are still unable. Yeah, there is a slab-wise rate है. तो slab-wise rate में भी अगर आप देखेंगे, right? I remember again. This is some of this is 3-4 years old. Some fixes could have happened through tariff, but if you were to, in Jharkhand, to be able to consume a nominal amount of energy that maybe, I'm trying to recollect the exact figure, but tariffs could be so high that even the poorest households would have to maybe spend about 1,000 rupees a month to have reasonable levels of consumption. That maybe you might undertake at a few hundred rupees in a Delhi or any other setting because of the phenomenal subsidies that are on offer here. So, very inequitable. So, we have to really see the resources that this country has. How do we get it into the hands of the poor so that their development is prioritized? Because जब उनकी तरक्की होगी, तभी we will also find different solutions that will take this country together forward. नहीं तो we'll always be a nation of two different races.
अभी कार्तिक जो पॉलिसी चल रही है जैसे गवर्नमेंट की सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट लेड की स्कीम है कि जो पुअर है उनके लिए डायरेक्ट फंड ट्रांसफर का पोर्शन है थ्रू द जनधन बैंक.
DBT direct banking to.
There is no money transfer. किसानों के लिए एक है. किसानों के लिए there was a street tranches of 2,000 रुपए का है, but there is no universal subsidy. कहाँ पे? Universal DBT कहाँ है किसी को?
हाँ, किसानों के लिए नहीं है.
किसानों के लिए ही है. किसानों के लिए there were 3 tranches of 2,000 rupees. I think PM Modi also announced that I think there was 6,000 rupees has been transferred, and I think that runs into I think several thousand crore of course. So that is there for farmers. But again, in the bigger scheme, you have to see what is 2,000 rupees. Right? They're saying now on a regular basis there is no income transfer scheme for poor households. Like for instance, universal basic income जो कहलाते हैं बाहर. To ensure that everybody is able to live. I mean, it's a fantastic concept, but we have to realize you have to also have the tax base that provides for that. जब वो नहीं है, we can't suddenly aim to change to that regime. So let's not discuss that. But what I'm saying is that whatever जो भी हमारे पास अभी आज के टाइम पे सब्सिडी हम, whether it's subsidy or you can call it, shielding we're shielding the rich. We're shielding the rich from facing true market prices, and that's why we are also unable to drive solutions around energy efficiency because उनको लगता है कि भाई इससे क्या saving हो जाएगा, because the prices are so low for them.
Nothing.
Right? Nothing.
Almost.
Right? These changes that they have, right? AC को 5 star, 5 star versus 3 star कराने से क्या बच जाएगा मेरा? साल में 3,000, साल में 4,000, सोचते हैं वैसे. पर AC महंगा पड़ रहा है 16-17 हजार का. अरे 4 साल का रिकवरी है, कौन करेगा ये सब? नहीं चाहिए.
नहीं सोचते.
But so effectively, this is also driving perverse outcomes. And it's not allowing for solutions to come. For instance, अगर हम कहें कि if batteries, for instance, are an interesting solution to solve for, because you talked about Delhi's demand being lower, for instance, Delhi or even pan-India. We found that this year the demand is lower, and as a result, prices इतने गिर गए थे exchange पे, ₹1 से भी कम, जीरो भी चला गया था. लोग बहुत बात कर रहे थे कि यार जीरो पे आ गया प्राइस. यानी कि अगर आपने ग्रिड you feed electricity into the grid, you can effectively take it off at zero price. Right? So which means that electricity, it's very likely that somebody didn't even send that into the grid, because क्या बनता है मुझे? So if you had storage, we could have actually saved that electricity, pushed that in later, right? And allowed for it to offset demand at a different time of day. क्योंकि रात में तो demand आना ही है. And we know in the nights the price does go back. So how do we ensure that the price signals are right so that this new technology is given a chance to grow? वो तभी आएगा जब the customer realizes that there is a value to investing this money.
No, बिल्कुल ठीक बात है. I think renewable energy में या solar के केस में I
Yeah.
think we started talking about RTC now.
हाँ.
Round the clock
हाँ.
power की बात कर रहे हैं. And this power will get enabled जब energy storage भी साथ में प्लान करें.
बिल्कुल.
Otherwise वो दिन के टाइम में ही वो यूज हो रहा है तो ठीक है, नहीं यूज हो रहा है तो मतलब there is nothing can be done. इसलिए वो ग्रिड लेवल पे भी स्टोरेज के भी डिमॉन्स्ट्रेशन प्रोजेक्ट हुआ है, जैसे रिसेंटली दिल्ली में. एंड देन हाउस होल्ड लेवल पे तो ये पार्ट होना ही चाहिए. देयर हैज टू बी सम मैकेनिज्म थ्रू व्हिच वो कंबाइंड सोल्यूशन की तरह ही आएगा, तभी शायद जो स्ट्रेस लेवल है और द पीक लेवल है दैट कैन बी मैनेज्ड एट द ग्रिड लेवल.
And linking with air pollution, right? Both the power that we generate today, it's 74% of that is coming from coal. और कोयले जलाने से क्या होता है? प्रदूषण. Right? जबकि 2015 में we had this regulation for retrofitting thermal power plants with flue gas desulfurization equipment. आज के तारीख में less than 10% of those plants are complying. NTPC के कई सारे प्लांट्स ने ऑर्डर कर दिए हैं या इट्स इन वर्क्स, बट अभी तक वहां पे भी इंस्टॉलेशन नहीं हुआ है. और स्टेट ओन्ड प्लांट्स और कई सारे अदर प्लांट्स को तो बात ही नहीं हो रही है. राइट, इट्स बीन डिलेड. एट द सेम टाइम वी सॉ दैट 30% ऑफ द पोल्यूशन इज कमिंग फ्रॉम बर्निंग ऑफ बायोमास, चाहे वो ऑफ कोर्स फ्रॉम हाउस होल्ड्स, बट इट्स ऑल्सो कमिंग फ्रॉम ऑल फॉर्म्स. सीजनली जो पंजाब से जो आता है पराली के जलाने से वगैरह, दे आर ऑल देयर. सो there is a need for us to also think, जैसे हमने अभी water और energy की बात की, we have to also see the environmental outcomes of energy use as well. And we have to see that this is having an impact on the people of our country, on the health of our country. If we are not cognizant of that, then we will not have the productive population that we anticipate. हर जगह हम बात करते रहते हैं कि demographic dividend की, कि इंडिया का एवरेज एज अभी क्या 29 है या कुछ है. राइट, इट्स अंडर 30. वन ऑफ द यंगेस्ट पॉपुलेशंस इन द वर्ल्ड. नॉट वन ऑफ द यंगेस्ट. अफ्रीका में शायद कुछ कंट्रीज हैं जहां पे which are probably even younger, but let's say India is now 20. It's actually progressively getting older because a lot of people are having only whatever, right? That's a different problem altogether. But this demographic dividend will become a demographic burden if you find that your 30-year-olds by the time they are 45 are faced with COPD and many other conditions. And why will that not happen? If this is the way your energy system is growing, excessive dependence on private mobility. So we have to figure out a way to ensure that even if it means providing the right incentives, subsidies for consumption of clean energy, जैसे अगर वो LPG हो घरों में, and whether it's to incentivize, whether it's to, it's maybe politically not astute, but coming up with a price regime that truly reflects the cost of supply and, maybe prices electricity consumption at certain levels at a significant premium. The current slabs aren't doing justice to it in many ways. Otherwise, it would have spurred energy efficiency in a much bit different way. Demand side management in a much different way. But clearly that's not the case. Yeah. So as a result, we will have to rethink how we are incentivizing clean energy consumption. How do we incentivize the supply and more importantly the demand? There will be a requirement for subsidies. There's no question about that. Because this is a question of public health. और public health किसी भी country में सरकार के खर्चे किए बिना कहीं नहीं आता. Because public health is a public good. There's no private individual who's going to pay for it. They will pay for air purifiers inside their house, but they're not going to pay for the air from a thermal power plant to be treated.
So let us discuss, as you mentioned, इस context या इस background के साथ अगर let us prioritize कि क्या 3 recognized priorities हो सकती हैं for the government to implement. Health is a major issue. Considering the demography diversity in India, there is a huge issue that we also see. For example, you mentioned one number, 8 lakh or 0.8 million numbers, जो कि because of particular reason उनकी death होती है. India में लगभग 1.7 million deaths हैं because of the air pollution कारण होती है.
That is ambient.
That is ambient.
Correct. Ambient included in that.
Which also means कि अगर हम daily death की बात करें तो लगभग 4.5 thousand to 5,000 deaths daily हो रही हैं because of the ambient air pollution. Percentage wise बात करें तो लगभग 17-18% deaths because of this.
Correct.
It means that you cannot ignore this subject.
We don't have that political will to. Now again, automobile is one of the things. In Singapore, they have taxed automobiles in a way that people themselves, the rich people use public transport. Karthik has come via public transport. Why? He could have afforded a car to come over. Where is that will from the public, from the government, to enforce this type of stringent measures so that people stop using their own vehicles?
See, there is at the end of the day, this is linked to an economic decision the government is also making. That today, automobiles constitutes, and the automobile industry's claim is 49% of manufacturing GVA is coming because of me. Because अगर मैं स्टील नहीं लूंगा, रबर नहीं लूंगा, प्लास्टिक कंपोनेंट्स लूंगा, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स नहीं लूंगा, तो आपकी आधी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तो बंद हो गई.
Demand create काम.
Right? So rest of the industry is dependent on a robust manufacturing industry for automobile. Export है, काफी सारे कंट्रीज को एक्सपोर्ट हो रहा है, तो उस पे अगर रुकावट डाल देंगे तो रोजगार का क्या होगा?
और पेट्रोल और डीजल अगर नहीं बिकेगा दिल्ली स्टेट में, तो उसका एक्साइज गवर्नमेंट का रेवेन्यू का बड़ा पार्ट.
There is of course a valid argument, but then that should not come at the cost of what is long-term sustainable. Now, the thing is that the reality is we also have to make public transport and other solutions aspirational. Aspirational कब बनेगा? वो उसमें यूज करने लायक रहेगा ना, कि उसमें आए तो सुविधा से आए. एयर कंडीशन था, बैठने के लिए जगह मिला, धक्का मुक्की में, जैसे कल मुंबई में क्या हुआ? In this day and age, 6 people are dying in the maximum city, falling out of a train because it's so packed.
So packed, overcrowded.
So now we are considering, safety regulations and, having doors on the, the famed local train. After so many years and so many deaths. I mean, I've had a classmate of mine who's died in a Mumbai train accident, fresh out of undergrad. Within 6 months of graduating, he died. Right? So now, this begs the question. I mean, clearly, this is a conversation perhaps, in more in private domain, we've had, this country doesn't value its citizens' lives. Here, it's sort of, dispensable in some way, which is tragic, but without becoming, cynical about how we view and don't view life, the solution lies in making things which are desirable for the economy, or desirable for the economy more in a holistic manner, more aspirational. And that aspiration will come only when you sort of understand what is it that, and shape. You have to proactively shape. If you're shaping everybody's aspiration, saying that going in a car is basically what will ultimately get you to your destination comfortably, then that's what you will do. If the walk to the metro is going to be cumbersome, कोई कहेंगे मुझे नहीं जाना है. I live in Okhla Phase 3, probably 20-30,000 people get off at Govindpuri metro station every day morning. कितने लोग पैदल अपने ऑफिस तक जा सकते हैं Okhla Phase 3 के सर्विस सेक्टर में? सबके सब, because the roads are so bad that everybody is like, मैं ऑटो में ही चले जाता हूँ. Cramped in a shared auto. 5 लोग, 6 लोग, जिसमें 3 लोग बैठने चाहिए थे, which is not also comfortable. But I have to, get to my workplace. So there's also a sense of desperation. कि कोई तो solution हो. Which is where we can't leave some of these entirely to private industry to take care of. There has to be better regulation of the services that are provided, enforcement of minimum standards, but more importantly, people need to know what to aspire for. The aspiration is for four-wheelers, and that's what we found out, right? That similar, just as you said, 8% own cars, air conditioners, that ownership of cars is a similar number or lesser. जबकि 55% घरों में in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities want to own a car.
नहीं तो मैं आपको नंबर देता हूँ वाला. जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे इंडिया में per 1000 कैपिटा में 30 कार्स हैं. In European countries or in Japan also, this number is close to 400 to 600. In US this number is 900. और आप सोचिए इन दोनों अदर लोकेशंस में, यूरोप में या जापान में या वहां पे, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इज फुली बिल्ट, स्टिल पीपल हैव मोर कार्स. इसका मतलब है कि एस्पिरेशंस आर आल्सो ड्राइविंग दीज परचेजेस, राइट? हमारे यहाँ इंडिया में भी वही होगा. ऐसा नहीं कि लोग कार नहीं खरीदेंगे. एक्सपेक्टेशन ऐसी है कि लोग अपना जो बिहेवियर पैटर्न है वो चेंज कर देंगे. दे विल यूज मोर मेट्रो. But this is what we also understand, that even if the metro is giving the end maybe last mile connectivity, still people will buy the car. That is something which we also feel inevitable. इस अंडरस्टैंडिंग से, क्योंकि मतलब लोग पास में अगर डिस्पोजेबल इनकम है, then people will have such equipment, such appliances, such maybe appliances as a car, तो वो होगा ही होगा. पॉइंट ये कि अगर इस पूरे सिस्टम में एयर क्वालिटी कंपोनेंट की जो इंफॉर्मेशन है, या तो वो लोगों तक अवेयरनेस के फॉर्म में नहीं आ रही है. अभी वी अंडरस्टैंड कि अभी भी देखा है तो बाहर का एम्बियंट में लगभग 120-150 के आसपास में होगा आज के
नहीं, अभी समर में तो 150 तो नहीं है, बट इट प्रॉब्ली बी 70-80 तो होगा. 70-80 हो सकता है. I mean, see winters, I mean summers में PM 2.5 slightly goes down, but then ओजोन काफी है. जहाँ पे ट्रांसपोर्ट है, जहाँ पे सूरज की किरणें पड़ रही है, तो वहाँ पे ओजोन तो बनेगा. उसको तो हम देख भी नहीं रहे. मैं रास्ते में आ रहा था, मैं आई टुक एन ऑटो एंड आई हैड टू वेयर अ मास्क. मैं मास्क लेके घूमता हूँ वैसे. एंड देयर वाज प्रॉब्ली, मैंने अपने एंटायर राइड इन द मेट्रो फ्रॉम देयर टू हियर अभी तक मैंने शायद 2 लोगों को देखा जो मास्क पहन रहे थे. तो देयर इज ऑलमोस्ट नो अवेयरनेस दैट even in this season, the level of exposure is at a point which is not safe, even by the very, very relaxed Indian standard of 40 microgram per meter cube. Jabki WHO standard is at 5 microgram per meter cube. Annualized exposure. So clearly there is, of course, an awareness gap, but there is also this, urgency for people, because, we've waited so many decades for growth to happen, and now is the opportunity. So there's a sense of urgency कि जो कल करना है मुझे आज ही करना है. Right? We are taking Kabir literally today. In many ways.
That is a fact.
No, because it's about earning your income. Right? You don't want to delay any level of consumption. Because सब कुछ आज चाहिए, क्योंकि इतने साल वेट कर चुके हैं, और कितने वेट करेंगे. So given that impatience, we are seeing what our economy is turning out to be. Whether it's construction. I mean, I speak to building construction folks, and the one thing they say is speed of construction is basically what is determining sustainable design. It's the speed of construction requirement that is preventing sustainable design from taking hold. That's the bottom line.
Safety too.
But if you look at construction materials, dekhiye, what is the reason why that Maiwan is basically coming in? Because of speed. You want to basically have a 10-story building that is up in a few months.
3-story building in 4 months, and you want to pocket that 1,000 crore rupees into your account by delivering.
So effectively, sustainable design necessarily means, while we had a huge discussion in the session that I was telling you about, that happened. While we can't look at customized solutions to everything, will always take more time. There can be some basic rules that prevents the absolute pursuit of only one objective, which is speed and cost efficiency. At least, of capex. There has to be about long-term performance. And it goes on to any different.
I think that is very obvious question. If I am a developer, I would certainly be opting those technologies by default. क्योंकि अगर वो मेरे लेबर की रिक्वायरमेंट को कम कर रही हैं, और अगर मेरा टाइम ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन को बचा रही हैं, तो no matter how bad these let's say RCC wall construction practices are, I will be opting it. Or I'll also tell you how these specific construction practices, they are marketed like that durability point of view, है ना, कि मतलब आपका घर तो लोहा लाट बन जाएगा.
And we are used to
कुकर के अंदर बैठ रहे होंगे.
हाँ, कुकर के अंदर बैठ रहे हैं, बट वो पर्सपेक्टिव तो बताने और ना बताने के डिफरेंस के कारण ही है ना. Whether the end consumer is understanding that there will be a lot of heat ingress because of the RCC wall, वो कोई नहीं बताता. What is more important to tell that कि ये आपको सीलन नहीं होगी, सीपेज नहीं होगी, 100 साल तक चलेगा. तो वो तो सेल्स एंड मार्केटिंग
एक बात
स्ट्रेटजीज हैं.
आपको और बताता हूँ. अभी क्या है कि एज द मनी स्टार्ट्स कमिंग इन, तो पहले क्या होता था कि लाइफ ऑफ ए हाउस यूज्ड टू बी 30 years. नाउ इट केम डाउन दैट एज यू ग्रो फाइनेंशियली यू कीप ऑन शिफ्टिंग हाउसेस. नाउ व्हाट्स द एवरेज लाइफ स्पैन ए पर्सन स्टेज इन ए हाउस?
50.
नहीं 5 साल
10 years. 10 years.
अच्छा,
And
मतलब
what's the
हाँ.
average life of the interiors? 5 years. If you have enough money in 5 years, your wife will say, okay, change this sofa. I want some new bed to come in. New things are happening. Something new design has come. Now you have to shift those electrical points.
वाइफ की बुराई नहीं करनी.
नहीं, electrical points को आपको change करना है. And what happens with the My1 shuttering and the other RCC walls you have constructed? We are used to having changes in our house as we grow. This is what we see. This is what we see. Average interior being changed in 5 years, 7 years.
No, also because there is wear. In the Indian context, there is wear. Let me see this. I live in a great campus inside IIIT Delhi. ठीक है, घर सरकारी है, पर दिया हुआ है, अच्छा सा दिया हुआ है, but the amount of dust that comes in and what that does to my furniture, मैं बता नहीं सकता आपको. Right?
Furniture, it's about you, your kids.
नहीं आप कह रहे हैं, आपके exact नहीं वो तो आप कह रहे हैं कि बदलना पड़ रहा है, but I'm saying you have to effectively wash and clean everything so many more times.
But sir, research and या policy perspective से बताइए कि मतलब what are the feasible solutions for ambient air quality?
Ambient air quality. See, one thing we have to admit, our soil type. We live in an area which is alluvial soil, so we will be having more of particulate matter during the hot day. We live in a hot climate zone. Delhi is a hot climate. 8 months we are into hotter climate and with alluvial soil. So either until the time you have this beautiful green covering or not leaving any loose soils anywhere in Delhi or say in that particular airshed, you will be getting road dust to hang, particulate matter to hang. These things you can't leave them.
I mean, so this requires us to prioritize. That's the thing.
Yes, exactly.
What are we going after? So if you look at it, what is the 2 solutions that I'm coming from Delhi? We are of course now outside Delhi, right? It's technically Noida. Delhi में the top 2 solutions are मैं mechanical road sweeper लगाऊंगा and I will basically put in sprinklers, anti-smog guns and इतने सारे बिल्डिंग्स जो अभी ऑर्डर निकला है इनका 3000 स्क्वायर फुट के बिल्डिंग्स कमर्शियल और या तो बिटवीन 7 and 10 स्टोरी बिल्डिंग्स, सबके ऊपर एंटी स्मॉग गन लगना है which will consume up to 2000 liters of water a day, right? It has to run between October 1st and June 15th every year, intermittently every day. This is the solution that we're coming up with.
But that is, I think, I don't know. मतलब वो solution आया कहाँ से?
So the thing is this, right? Exactly. So the reason why the solution has come up is because one, of course, the government needs to be seen to be doing something about it. It needs to be seen to be doing, and the people need to say कि ठीक है कोई efforts हो रहे हैं. And as Mr. Narang said, certainly the environment we are in results in a higher ambient, but it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The environment we are in is also created by us. So today there is this video that's doing the viral rounds about how it's been curated by an environmentalist, but at least the broader content, which is about how Delhi has created so many biodiversity parks, despite being seen as a city that is tearing down a lot of trees, etc. for construction. It has also created some biodiversity parks, and how greenery is going to help reduce air pollution. But the reality is, greenery can't reduce air pollution. Greenery, of course, it's good to have greenery. Let's expand our green cover, but you can't be sort of taking down the Aravalis on one side and creating diversity parks within Delhi and hoping that the Thar ka sand doesn't come in, because Aravali was the barrier against the Thar. But आपने अगर Aravali को खोदना शुरू कर दिया and you've made it more permeable and the loo basically makes its presence more felt here, then you're not resolving it by creating biodiversity parks within Delhi. It's bringing in more, and the moment it comes onto the roads, resuspension happens. So we have to look at solutions that we know are necessarily increasing this ambient, so it shows us so that it doesn't become one about अरे हम तो surrounded by Thar desert हैं and alluvial soil है तो ऐसा ही होगा. How can we? I mean, you've been working in construction. How many construction sites, even after, despite so many orders in terms of monitoring हो रहा है सब बहुत सारे sites का, but in terms of just mandating simple things like clean wheels when a vehicle gets out of the site,
So
hosing down of the wheels, etc.
it's 1%.
Exactly.
So what we have started doing now is we go and for the advocacy part we create a narrative that, and it's a true narrative that whatever clean construction guidelines government has emphasized, if your project value is 1,000 crore rupees, it's not even 10 lakh rupees.
Correct.
Or 15 lakh rupees maximum, including the cost of smog guns, air quality monitors, green cloth, whatever they are saying, clean construction practices. And there is a data with the work we did from CW and I have done with WRI.
Yeah.
So there's a data which shows if we follow these clean construction practices, we can curtail at least 80% to 90% of the PM 2.5, PM 10 emissions coming from the project. That's data-based clean construction mitigation processes that have happened. But it's very tough. Again, it's not easy to convince a person to spend 10 lakh rupees or 15 lakh.
What is this is where I don't understand it. What is the question of convincing? अगर नहीं करोगे तो construction नहीं कर सकते. Now, it has to become a hard, constraint for a developer that if he or she doesn't comply, then this construction doesn't go ahead. But somehow it feels like, it's an option for you. अगर नहीं करोगे तो you'll get a rap on the knuckles and we go ahead.
वो जब तक आपके पास flexibility रहेगी.
And of course the debate is basically, as I said, everybody sees India as average. You see India in totality and we say we are still a poor country. जब तक हम इस income level पे पहुंचेंगे तब तक we can't aspire for clean air.
हाँ मतलब वही सब
but the
साल लग जाएंगे.
No, but the reality is that we are not the poor people that you're projecting us to be. We are not. The average income, you talked about 6 lakhs. I would argue it's probably higher if you factor in, the outliers, that many outliers that we don't even measure. So, which means that we have to then act like a country that has the income, or at least act like a region that has the per capita income, maybe of China.
So, I can give you one example that I just read in an article कि लोगों को मतलब how people are finding the solution. So for example, जैसे last year AQI वो touched almost like 1081, which was the peak.
दिवाली के टाइम पे
post जो भी है. तो इस साल में anticipation ये है कि जितनी भी Airbnb, hotel, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star in HP, हिमाचल प्रदेश and Uttarakhand वो already pre-booked हैं and they have already increased their prices by minimum 25%.
During the bad air days of Delhi.
During the winter, October, November and December. So that is something that people will try for it because of flexibility भी है कि आप work from home के options मिल जाते हैं. You have
बच्चों के स्कूलों का क्या करेंगे? बच्चों के स्कूल का क्या करेंगे? That's the thing, right? Like, see, we are willing at the drop of a hat to say, school बंद करो, online करो. Who's being impacted the most? Children who have no voice in this situation, right? And poorer children जिनके पास online जाने का capacity भी नहीं है. कोविड के टाइम पे somehow they manage पापा के मोबाइल फोन से या कहीं से भी पता नहीं what the quality of ultimate education delivery that happened. Unfortunately, I don't look at this data much. I'm sure I've seen some papers that have looked at how we've really set back one generation, right, on account of poor schooling outcomes in that COVID period.
2-3 साल तो रही है academic performance.
So which means that if you again go back to the period where you're saying, schools arbitrarily बंद होंगे, and I have a daughter who's 9 years old, and I know last year 2 हफ्ते वैसे ही. This year, for instance, of course, गर्मी की वजह से summer vacations 1 हफ्ते पहले ही शुरू हुए थे. It was intended to supposed to start on 19th, but they started on 12th of May saying गर्मी होने वाली है, घर पे बैठ के करो. 25% of the kids in our classes are TE kids. उनके पास सबके पास है ये. So again, this is a different thing. This is not because of pollution, because of the heat stress. Granted, that's also an important thing to act. But then you had periods in October जहाँ पे स्कूल की छुट्टी हो रही है. दिसंबर में स्कूल जब नॉर्मली 10 दिन की छुट्टी होती है वहां पे दिसंबर का आखिरी हफ्ता भी छुट्टी दे दिया. So we are also losing out on active interaction in school. And when kids stay back at home, is there a certainty that they're actually breathing clean air? No. There is no difference between ambient and inside the house in an average Indian house which is well ventilated. जबकि खिड़कियां आपकी ठीक से नहीं बने हैं.
स्टडी कि अगर आपका एम्बिएंट जैसा भी है, इफ इट इज सर्टेनली पुअर देन द WHO लेवल, तो आपका जो इंडोर है वो उससे भी खराब है. बिकॉज
इंडोर हैज अदर थिंग्स. इंडोर हैज मेनी अदर थिंग्स. अगर आपकी साफ सफाई ठीक नहीं है एंड you've got too many different curtains, upholstery, a lot of furniture, there's deposited dust which will keep getting resuspended. There's dead skin. There's so many things.
Kitchen, yeah.
So which means that there is which means that we have not even figured out. And as I said, going back to the initial point, which is the ones who are impacted the most. Thankfully, touch wood, we have the ability to buy an air purifier and ensure that our daughter sits inside an air purified room. But not everybody has that opportunity. So this goes back to and my theory is this: if you try and strive to make life better for the poorest, it will make life better for the richest.
But Karthik, a specific question है. For example, let's say when I look at it from the research perspective, this question may be suitable from that perspective. जैसे हम we have a lot of younger generation who have a lot of ideas. Certainly ideas की as such कोई value नहीं है जब तक उसको execute ना किया जाए. So for example, we need to look at, maybe I think from CEEW point of view से या government point of view से, we need to look at how the startup ecosystem can be developed. क्योंकि दो ही requirement है. एक तो या तो हमारे पास affordable technology हो जाए, और या तो फिर लोगों तक अवेयरनेस के लिए, फॉर एग्जांपल सिंपल सी बात कर रहा हूँ, जैसे लोगों को अवेयर होना है, बट हाउ वुड दे गेट अवेयर? उनके पास या तो कोई डिस्प्ले सिस्टम हो जाए, गवर्नमेंट लोगो जितना एडवर्टाइज या वो करे उस तरीका से, या तो उनके पास वो मेजरमेंट डिवाइस हो, उनको पता हो कि हाँ बाहर निकल रहे हैं, तो अब जो है वो एक 110 हो गया है, ये लेवल हो गया है, अब आप थोड़ी देर या तो बात निकलिए या मास्क लगा के पहनिए. So there has to be some decisions which would be governed by the just cognizance level, है ना? तो वो या तो उस तरह से हो, तो या तो ऐसी कोई स्टार्टअप मैकेनिज्म हो, या लेट अस से हैकाथन हो जहाँ पे इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट को बताया जाए और उसके बेसिस पे सॉल्यूशंस निकाले जाएं, है ना? समथिंग लाइक दिस. हाउ डू यू सी सच और मे बी सम अदर इनिशिएटिव?
So again, in a country like ours, which is resource starved, the challenge with this is even this monitoring tech that you're talking about, it doesn't come at a very low price.
Yeah.
I mean,
very costly they are. 50-60,000 से कितने कहीं.
I mean, look at the marginalized people. उनके लिए 50-60 हजार रुपए बहुत है.
But मैं कह रहा हूँ, चलो, you're looking at a very reasonable grade device with a lot of display. Display itself is very expensive these days, right? वो LED का display आ गया तो उसमें खर्चा गया. So let's look at even like bare bones ones. You won't get anything for less than 3,000, 3,500. उससे नीचे तो कुछ मिलेगा भी नहीं आपको, कुछ भी नहीं है. There are some कुछ मिल जाएगा. But to me, it has to be a pursuit of. It can be an effort where you can have. And this is what I was telling somebody who was asking me for. They're looking to shift into the public policy world. Solutions ढूंढने. और मैं उनसे कह रहा था कि अगर आपको आइडिया जनरेट करने आना है तो मैं कह रहा हूँ शिफ्ट मत करो into this world for a career. But if you feel that you have the ability to work with the community that you are in, right? Try and see whether you can take away time to engage with the community to sort of deepen the science behind many things. Air quality is one that you can immediately start with because it has a direct experience, impact on what you do. I mean, सर्दियों में अगर खांसी आ रही है, बलगम है, and you're losing productive days, you should be easily able to engage with the community on what's causing it. बच्चे हैं, there are older people, right? But on other things, whether it's plastic, whether it is, poor quality of road infrastructure that's again resulting in air pollution, we need to figure out how do we engage the citizens more at a community level. And the reality is that we are now less integrated in the spaces we live in.
Unfortunately.
We feel that, more things that we do independently, the better. The dependence on the neighbor, the dependence on the community for anything we want is hardly there. Everybody wants to get a sense of feeling that मैं self-sufficient हूँ. But when you do that, you also lose the ability to solve for problems that arise at a community level. Whether it's waste segregation, creating solutions that are scalable in large societies. Individual households में composting बहुत मुश्किल है. It requires a lot of resolve. Whereas you have a centralized collection facility for segregated waste within a facility, you manage it much more easily. But it requires some level of ability to engage with everybody, see eye to eye, convince people, have conversations. So similar way, I would say on air quality, for instance, citizen science is a beautiful way of engaging. Schoolon mein aap, you take a kit, for every class, you can have a sensor that they basically, these days you have put together, 4-5 cheezein khareed lo. Even, there'll be cables that will have, easy connectors. Connect karke sensor hai, locate kar do, there's a thing, kit you can put together. You can buy it, buy a DIY kit. कुछ मिल जाएगा और बन जाएगा, नहीं तो if you order in sufficient quantities बन भी जाएगा DIY kits. Distributed across schools, right? एक monitor है तो महीने के 30 बच्चे हैं क्लास में, तो महीने के हर दिन किसी और बच्चे के घर में होगा. बच्चा घर पे जाएगा, नोट करेगा कि भाई कहाँ कैसा है एयर क्वालिटी, makes a record of it, and each of them basically discusses this is how it is. Each of them has learned what is the science behind how this is measured. कहाँ पे प्रदूषण ज्यादा है. सर्दियों में अगर we are looking to do one such effort, for instance, with this heating jackets, winter heated jackets, and school students, trying to give it to them and understand. अगर आप अपने RW में ले जाते हैं और आपके RW वाले जो सिक्योरिटी गार्ड हैं उनको ये जैकेट पहनाते हैं, क्या उसके वजह से आपके एरिया में प्रदूषण कम हो रहा है कि नहीं? Are you seeing that? Of course, visual inspection is one thing. Visibly, are you able to see and are you able to sense that वो अगर नहीं जला रहे हैं तो in your area, are you able to feel some marginal difference? But are you also able to measure that कि उसके वजह से pollution level कम है? And we need to inculcate the spirit of science in kids, this sense of curiosity in kids about these things. It used to be the case when, earlier on when there was paucity of resources, this is how things would happen. You share, you build, you discuss, and that's how a lot of people who went on to do great things ended up learning things. And that's the spirit that we need to recapture right now.
Exactly.
Whether it is for, air pollution, whether it is for energy consumption, we can have so many. I don't want to put everything, the burden on kids and citizen science. There is a role for policymaker. But at the end of the day, if you want, and as we say, right, the baby steps that we need to take are indeed in that generation where the awareness will make them more responsive to the call for action from government. Today, when I go back home, I cannot convince my father to segregate because he just doesn't understand. Because in his mind, he feels like he's a low resource person, low footprint person, which he is by every means. But the problem is, today, you are by default, the system is just thrusting a lot of resources into your consumption practices.
Right.
Plastic bags, plastic packaging. And when you don't segregate, even a person who's traditionally been a low footprint person is actually contributing a lot of waste.
I've become a big fan of country Rwanda and Kigali. Kigali
Every
model.
Saturday.
Yeah, every fourth Saturday. All the citizens, that's a holiday, there's some typical word for it. Every fourth Saturday of month, they take, they are given day off. For first 3 hours, you have to go and do the public work, cleaning of the roads and everywhere on all the drains. And if you don't do it, you get fined. And even their prime minister does it.
unfortunately, I think when we get into these kinds of normative practices, we must realize that socio-culturally we're very different. Our relationship with our environment, and I think that's why Gandhiji realized that we are a dirty country. That's why he called for cleanliness.
How did that started? So I was looking at the history. How did that movement start? So there was some genocide happened in around 1990. I might be wrong with the dates. So there was a bigger tribe. They killed the smaller tribe, and the tribe went away to the neighboring country.
रवांडा की बात कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, रवांडा की बात कर रहा हूँ. तो जब वो वापस लाए गए, then the change of heart happened. A new president came. He's still the president for last 25 years.
Okay.
So he started with this public movement of creating houses or getting those houses made for the people who have been killed. And then this movement started in cleaning of the country. And what I have seen in the YouTube, I've never been to that country. I've been following it, following that country on the YouTube. And I call it Kigali model of self-help. I am loving that model. I am loving that model.
This is classic, right? People have said, when Singapore did it, they're like, "Arey, what is it? 5 crore, 5 crore ki duniya. What is the point of comparing us with them, right?" और 50 लाख, what am I saying? 5 crore, 50 लाख के, 5 million.
Rwanda 1.5 crore.
1.5 crore, right? So people belittle these things and say, "अरे यार, छोटा है, not scalable,
manageable है,
right?" Fine, let's even if you go and say कि भाई हम अपने वो स्केल पे करते हैं, 5 million है तो दिल्ली का एक नेबरहुड है तो समझ लो कि भाई you're Singapore. So notwithstanding that, there are many things which are deeply ingrained in the I think in the Indian socio-cultural landscape, which one could argue is has genesis in things like the caste system, which means that for us to fix this will require us to introspect about where we have come from. So that then becomes a much larger project than one of fixing it at the governance level, which in turn is also governed by that history and past. So it's deeply intertwined. So which is why, when somebody talks of, I would love to have a solution like this. But we've discussed today, right from the electricity sector to, and we find that the common thread is we're not addressing the problems of the poor and we're not showing them the right things of what to aspire for. And that is one of the reasons why we are in this situation, because everything is a quick fix. You're never able to appreciate something that is well done. Never able to appreciate something that is well done. And as a result, we are in this, as I said, it's a hurried form of growth. It is not thought through. This is, I would say, then permeates everyone's daily life.
Yeah.
When I go home and I speak to my wife about conferences and how they are conferences that are held internationally, she tells me about how the planning for some of these conferences are 3 years in advance. And in India,
put up a lot of effort.
And in India, the same conference, literally you're like, conference के पहले दिन we are figuring out कि ऐप है, हमसे हो जाएगा, अरे हम तो दुनिया भर के ऐप हम ही तो बनाते हैं.
शायद हमारे यहाँ पे इसी हड़बड़ाहट को ही स्किल की तरह लोग पोर्ट्रे करने लगते हैं.
So as I said, don't want us to become boil down to a session where we are sort of talking about what ails our country.
Yeah.
But this is what it is. So we need to do well thought out steps because we know that everything that we're going to do right now is, at least in this energy landscape that we wanted to speak about, is something that's going to last 70, 80 years. In terms of, when you put in a place, transmission, 50 years. We're talking about a nuclear power plant. Today I had a visitor from a nuclear power company at the office. They're looking at an asset that could last 60 years. The money has to be recovered over a very long period. And I really want to know where will, the price of energy be in India so that I'm able to make a case for why nuclear at this price makes sense for the country.
No, I totally agree.
So that thought to that long-term plan. Okay, let's take steps to ensure that we are setting ourselves up for that future. That is not there. And that, as a result of that, everyone is basically focused on getting things done for tomorrow. from the bureaucrat to the, I would even argue me as a policy analyst, because there will always be low-hanging fruit.
They'll always be.
Right? Yeah. It is a job of some, and we also do some of that, but there are so many that we sort of sometimes tend to stop and think about, do all of these things fit together in this bigger, picture and scheme that we're trying to sort of drive?
No, totally agree. I think it is an opportunity. We should also count it as an opportunity. For example, maybe let me also talk about the built environment. For example, 2010 में when we started this organization in 2009, there was a very famous data which was circulated कि 30% of India is built and 70% is yet to build.
आज भी वही है.
आज फिर भी कई जगह थोड़ा सा चेंज हो गया है.
40-60.
अब वो 50% India is built and 50% is yet to build by 2047.
Some minister, I think, recently said that by 2045, all of India's roadways would have been built. इंडिया में जितने भी रोड बनने हैं 2045 तक बन चुके होंगे. तो चलो किसी ने एंड डेट लगा तो दिया है कि सबके लिए.
डेटा सर्टेनिटी तो खैर मतलब एक अलग सब्जेक्ट है, but I think I'm only counting on the opportunity. So even if it is 50% is yet to build, it is an opportunity for us that we need to make it maybe I think more sustainable rather than we can construct it with the ad hoc approach. It will never going to give the benefit to anyone, neither the government nor the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, and we need to see this, right? At the end of the day, our ability to have a technology-driven, material-intensive consumption pathway is not possible at 1.4 billion, which means we have to necessarily espouse sustainability, which is why I got back to saying that if we solve it for 1.4 billion people, we would have solved it sustainably. We cannot solve it unsustainably. We cannot solve it unsustainably. We cannot spend our way through this. We cannot build our way through this. We cannot consume our way through this. So if India does solve it, then you know that the rest of the world would also have figured out how to solve for it. I mean, I'm not trying to make it look like India is at the front of the race or that India, it's not. Unfortunate truth is that in most places that I think where discussions happen, India is seen as a large market. That's it.
Commodity.
It's a जो बेच सकते हैं, खरीद सकते हैं, चीजें ले सकते हैं. But are they really thinking about India's role in shaping? I mean, emissions के अलावा मुझे नहीं लग रहा कि कोई इंडिया के बारे में ज्यादा सोच रहा है. They're worried about India's emissions to the extent that we will buy and consume and put out CO2. But beyond that, does India have a role in this? Of course, the Indian diaspora is in a lot of places. So we have to change this approach. And this will, of course, stem from, as I said, this view of who are we solving it for? If we change that perspective, of who are we solving it for? And put those people at the front. It means that many of our needs may have to take a back seat because those are not the priority. Right? Or that will have to come at a private initiative which may be more expensive. It may not be publicly provided. So classic examples are roads. Why should the government keep providing more roads for urban areas to keep driving more cars, where effectively the cost of the road is then benefiting only that car user, jabki the poorer person who's riding a cycle or even a motorbike or walking or using public transit and walking is not getting the benefit. So the government really needs to think, how do I then fund what the poor person needs versus what the rich person needs in different ways? It can't, obviously the pool of money the government has access to is limited, which means that it'll have to think of different ways in which it'll have to fund the needs of the rich and the needs of the poor. Yeah. And with the resources that the government is able to pull together from its current sources, it has to prioritize the poor at every cost.
Although मुझे personally लगता है कि most of the policies which government always claims serves the maybe poor people or the lower middle class people. That is how it also reflects from the
going back to the original question we started with. Who in Punjab has the most energy intensive pumps.
तो हो सकता है enforcement mechanism का भी issue हो सकता है.
Enforcement की बात नहीं है. The reality is that most of the government subsidies make their way to large consumers. Right? The subsistence farmer in Punjab is not the one who's got the most energy guzzling pump there.
हाँ तो कार्तिक, you being the policy analyst, मतलब पॉलिसी को सही तरीके से लिखा जाना डिटेल वाइज, someone has to look at कि इसका रिपकर्सर या इसके जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन या
लिखा जाना and implementation of the policy.
implementation.
We have got implementation flaws. That's one of the big issues. That's how I see it. It's not about policy writing.
हाँ, मतलब मुझे लगता है कि जो चीज आप पंजाब में देख रहे हैं वो बिना हुए भी विजुलाइज किया सकता है. It is just a matter of maybe I think who all are involved in maybe I think developing that policy, writing that policy, and then detailing it out, making it more impactful or enforceable.
Yeah, I mean, and I think at some level, certain things are being accelerated towards this disruptive solution being needed. कि ऐसा disruption हो गया कि मुझे आज बदलना ही पड़ेगा इसको. I'll have to change the way I do it. Unfortunately, climate change is making us probably move towards disruptive solutions now, where we'll be forced to deal with the problems we've created.
हाँ, तो जब तक वैसा समय आएगा नहीं तब तक होगा नहीं. ये भी एक हो सकता है.
That's a sad reality where a lot of things are headed in that direction.
There is an example also in Bihar, जो power deficit was become such a menace कि वहाँ पे जो smart metering implementation है, that is the maximum in Bihar now. Yeah, just because कि अगर वो नहीं होगा तो पावर जाएगी नहीं या आएगी भी नहीं. लोगों के लिए भी समस्या नहीं थी कि उनको लगता है पावर ऐसे भी नहीं आती, स्मार्ट मीटर लगा भी देंगे तो भी क्या ही होगा. But that is how it changed the whole ecosystem.
Correct, because if you couldn't collect, that's it. The same what's happening in Bihar is not able to happen in the neighboring state.
Yeah, it is not.
It's not able to happen in the neighboring state at the same pace.
Yeah.
Again, we need to ensure, because everything there are repercussions, right? I think there was an outage that happened in Mathura for about 1 lakh घरों में कृष्ण जयंती के यहाँ कभी 2020 में 21 में there was an outage which I think was because some smart meter control was triggered which caused the outage, and everybody was like ये देखो अगर ये आ गया तो meaning if there is incorrect handling and management, then this could result in outages which are unforeseen, and it's a problem. So उसके वजह से there was a messaging that spread. So there are risks of technology being taken up in certain ways that create these barriers in the minds of people, and we need to see how is it that we can overcome. And I think climate change will make sure that we address some of them, but the hope is that we'll be able to address a majority of these issues in time for us to avert significant losses and damages that will come our way, whether it's through increased heat incidences or whether it's rainfall. Only time will tell, and I hope that we take cognizance of some of this and don't wait for that disruptive end to things. Being a policy analyst and trying to constantly look at problems and propose solutions, we realize that there are many smart officers out there and politicians who want to change things, but we have to come together. I think even at the highest level, it's not one person's call. Even at the level of the PM, it's not the PM's call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right? He has to ensure that that there is an army of voices that all feeds him that input and then says ki karo. Tab wo jaake karenge. Nahi to even if he hears a large section saying no, he's not going to activate it. So which means that it has to be at some level a groundswell of support for certain ideas. There are certain things that can go through by sheer government will, but certain things cannot. And we need to have this realization that this has caused the situation we are in. And in certain things like air pollution, maybe a private initiative or awareness and these things can help. But in other things, I think it's a hard look that society needs to give itself. And I don't think that's a solution. But I think we need to look at the way we all have turned out in urban areas to see what are the problems that we've created for ourselves in the urban areas that we live in. And is there a fix if we were to work with each other? And do we have the wherewithal to work with each other in solving it? Because we can't look to a distant government officer, a municipal commissioner to solve for problems that are in our backyard. I, used to complain to, one of our, she was the commissioner of North MCD at that time. I used to tell her about the schools में drop. Again, when we lived in a university campus, तो बस हमारे यहाँ तक नहीं आती थी जब हम भेजना चाहते थे. And at that time हमें ड्रॉप करना होता था. चलो 2-3 बच्चे मिलके हम एक गाड़ी में जाते थे. फिर भी then you realize that आधे के आधे प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में, आधे नहीं, काफी सारे बच्चे प्राइवेट गाड़ियों में आ रहे हैं. इन फ्रंट ऑफ स्कूल्स ट्रैफिक इतनी हो जाती है कि उन बच्चों का एक्सपोजर अगर आप देखेंगे, फिनोमिनल. Harmful SOx, NOx, PM 2.5, every cocktail is there. The population that we want to avoid this exposure to the most. Yeah. And then when I told her we need better enforcement, she's like, no amount of police force that I can send will fix this problem. So this has to be community-led solution. I remember the solution would be, in my school that I went to many years ago, you have school, wardens, could be student wardens, or, student council members. They form a human chain. They cordon off. And the moment a child comes inside a particular area, it's the school's responsibility from that point on. And the trust was there that my kid is safe once they are beyond this point. Now, parents don't have that safety and that trust. They have to park the car in the middle of the road, take the kid, walk all the way to the school gate. Gate ke andar chodenge, not at the hands. So we're not teaching kids the responsibility either. That, a small child given in the hands of a 10th standard kid who's a traffic warden or whatever it is, appointed by the school, learns responsibility on the job. That he or she is responsible to ensure that all these small kids have to go in safely. Now wo sikha ja raha hai. And we're creating a problem. But we need to come together as a community to accept that this solution, but to everybody, their child is the most precious. Should I risk my child's safety because I want to try this community-driven solution?
I totally agree.
So I guess we should be ending this on a note where we're despondent.
No, this is very I think interesting and insightful discussion. I think, and then most of the cases we have found such discussions, they may lead to a lot of such thoughtful provocations. जहाँ पे लोगों को लगता है कि हाँ, these are the maybe top 3, top 4 options which are really the way forward. And मुझे लगता है कि शायद यही मीनिंगफुल आउटपुट या आउटकम्स हैं जो कि शायद जो लिसनर्स हैं या जो भी हमारे ऑडियंस हैं उनके लिए रहती है. बट बिफोर वी एंड वी हैव अ रैपिड फायर आल्सो.
बिल्कुल, चलिए.
The first question is a book that changed your view on energy or systems thinking.
Book that changed my view on, I think, Reinventing Fire by Amory Lovins from the Rocky Mountain Institute. That was to me a revelation about how our relationship with energy.
You are a pioneer in climate and sustainability. If not climate and sustainability, what Karthik Ganeshan would have been?
Chemist.
Pharmacist
नहीं जो लैब में जाके जो कुछ रसायन विज्ञान जो होता है कहलाता है, रसायन विज्ञान की बात कर रहा हूँ, फार्मासिस्ट की बात नहीं. पर पापा वैसे फार्मासिस्ट ट्रेंड थे, तो उसमें भी कोई बुराई नहीं है.
Tell us about one sustainable habit that's non-negotiable to you.
Composting.
And to end it, we have few students who follow our podcast. They want you a message going to our students, what they should aspire, how they should aspire. Message for our student viewers.
I've had a conversation with my younger cousins as well about this. I think in today's world, we are looking for the young who have ideas on how to improve the quality of life of people around us in any way. And if you have an idea, just pursue it. And opportunities will come your way. Whether it is an income earning opportunity, whether it is, for you to create your own startup to do something, sustainability will be the mainstream thing in the next 10 years. So if you're remotely interested, but you have to keep yourself curious, you have to observe the way the world works and understand why things aren't, the way they were 50 years ago. Not that Of course, one can always look back and see how things were better and better in many ways, but they're also better today. But what I mean is, if the environment was more pristine, why is it not so the case today? Observe your world, focus on understanding and dissecting that, and try and create learning opportunities. The income earning opportunities for you, if that's a concern, will come on their own. And that's my absolute conviction in this.
Thank you. So wonderful words to end the
Thank you so much, Karthik and Sandeep sir, for contributing to this discussion. I think it's a very, very insightful discussion for me at least, and I'm hopeful that this discussion will certainly be enriching to our audience as well. और आपके अपने कुछ स्पेसिफिक सुझाव हैं या स्पेसिफिक सजेशंस हैं, और यू हैव एनी स्पेसिफिक क्वेरी, you can always write it to us, or you maybe, I think in our description we'll also put the email ID of Karthik and Sandeep sir as well, and you can write to them as well. And we are hopeful that you have enjoyed this podcast, and if you have any specific suggestion on the guests, so you can certainly write it to us as well. Thank you so much for the patience listening. Please like, subscribe, or share this podcast. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep ji.
Sandeep sir.